Hey everyone, how are we doing today? And you can see here we are obviously on Dueling Book. We played ranked a lot lately with our brand new Cyber Dragon build. We'll have that deck profile up in a little while, but we have a few of these videos for you guys and we'll continue to get them as we can go. So here we have 3 different matches against Dinosaur, Dragon Link, and Burning Abyss Stun. So let's get on into that first replay. We're going to kind of, fast forward, try and pause it, not miss too much, and talk to you guys as we go. If you've seen our replay videos before on Dueling Book, I do keep their hand hidden just for the fact that way you don't say, I should have did this, should have that, should have did this, because I don't know their hand when I'm playing. So I like you to have the same knowledge that I have while we are playing. This first replay, we don't know it yet, but we are up against dinosaurs. We just happen to open 3 hand traps. The Ghost Mourner is something that we are testing out, and we're either going to keep the Mourner or we're going to go with Effect Veiler in its place, or just different extenders if we feel we are opening too many hand traps and not enough pieces to do our plays. But here we have, I'm okay with Naxter Fear, the 3 hand traps. Like, I like this hand, I'm okay with this hand. I don't see anything wrong with it because we can still make Dragoon regardless of what we draw, and our opponent's not going to do a whole lot. So we see Extravagance, and for the most part we expect it to be dinosaurs. Not too much else is playing Extravagance at the moment. Altergeist and other things, but I've also been seeing dinosaurs absolutely everywhere. And then the Fossil Dig comes out, so he goes ahead and gets his Miscellaneosaurs, and we're gonna Gamma the Miscellaneosaurus right there. And it's like, well, why wouldn't you save your Gamma for the Banish effect? And we're doing this because we're Gammaing him here because we have Nibiru and Mourner still, plus we have a play on our turn regardless. So we do this to make sure his dinosaurs are still affected, because now Nibiru's just absolutely going to kill him. And, obviously that's a good thing. Again, we don't care then about this effect because we have the Nibiru. We're going to stop him before he gets to any negate. He specials the Oviraptor. We are going to go ahead and hit it with the Moonlit Chill here, just because he could send like a giant Rex to the graveyard here, or he could get Miscellaneosaurus to his hand for a follow-up play or something like that. So we do, just as a preventative measure, hit him with that. And then it turns out he has a Fossil Dig anyway, so he has access to giant Rex. But like I said, we wanted to at least prevent, because had we let that go through, he would have the Miss and the giant Rex now. And then we see Linkuriboh goes into Reprodocus, so he's playing the Barrier Statue variant, but it doesn't matter because we have our Nibiru, so we're going to stop that from happening. Pill, get out Tyranno. I've had people Tyranno and book my Gamma Driver. Don't ever do that, because then they don't get banished and I save them and I get them on my turn, and just don't do that. And then Reprodocus and Rex, he's going to go into the Simorgh Link, and before he can go to the end phase, actually, we do Nibiru him, so he isn't going to end with much of anything. Skip forward a little bit, give him a token. We want it in that zone, just in case we decide to use Anima. We happen to open our Gamma, go through Anima, just to take the token. And then we're going to get a little spicy here on our play. Get our Verte, get our Dragoon, and like I said, we already stopped his whole play, and Nibiru gives us that 3000 monster, so we have 3, 6, 65 on board, and that's obviously going to be enough for game. So then we go ahead and get into game 2. He opts to go first, and we happen to open our Lancia, so obviously we see our side card. That's going to help a ton, especially with the Ash Blossom, because once in a while they'll still be able to do make like Dolka and something else possibly, but just having that Ash Blossom really stops them from doing just about anything. And then Emergency and hers would normally be an OTK, but we actually accidentally sided out our copy of Overload Fusion, so that's not going to be the case here. We could have chained the Ash and just baited the Miss if he had it, otherwise, and then threw the Lancia, but we're just going to throw the Lancia and hold the Ash just in case, because we can always use Ash on like his follow-up when he tries to banish his Miss anyway, because that's really the effect that you have to worry about, unless it's like game 1 where you have like the Nibiru and you can Gamma the protection, because then Nibiru's going to board wipe him. Otherwise, it's stopping the Miss and the Grave effect is just huge, so we're going to hold that Ash, let the Oviraptor go through, and Lancia actually ends his turn. And then assuming he doesn't have a hand trap, we basically have game already. So like nothing too spicy or different here. We're just gonna make our Nova, get a Cyber Dragon back, and then go into our Verde, get Dragoon, burn the Oviraptor for 1800. And we're gonna do a quick little play to make sure we get the win. But we go into our Verde. And we're going to burn now, so that leaves him with 6,200, and we have 3,000, 3,500, and 6,000. So we're actually 200 short, but we're going to go ahead and use our Verde effect to make Infinity a dark, just so we can negate it with Dragoon to destroy it, because now we have 4,000, and that puts us to 6,500. So just like that, we win because of it. That is our first replay of the game, well, of today. We are playing pure Cyber Dragon, well, with Dragoon, but we opt to go second, especially with as many hand traps as we are playing. We do not know it yet, but this one is against Dragon Link. We happen to have 3 hand traps, and he's going to open up with Safer. So as soon as he does that, we know that it is, in fact, Dragon Link. And I absolutely, like, completely spaced on Gamma even being there. I was just, when he went to use Safer effect, I was just like, oh, permanence, okay. But definitely should have used Gamma, because I mean I can stop the Romulus and the Link Cross anyway, dodge chain blocking with them. So no chain blocking, nothing going on here. He used his normal summon, I can clear it off the board. He would have to have a way to get an extender, which wouldn't be unheard of, onto the board to get into his Striker Dragon plays. So absolutely should have Gamma here, but again, it like completely spaced my mind, and we used Impermanence. Striker Dragon, chaining with Noctivision. Like I said, their chain blocking is ridiculous. And even now they're going to chain block the Romulus with the Noctivision, but we're going to go ahead and drop Imperm on it just because we can. Like I said, if we Gamma the Safer and he somehow plays through, we can dodge chain blocking twice with Impermanences. So definitely want to be able to, you know, do that. And since this is game 1, our Overload Fusion is in. So assuming we, you know, can manage to basically keep his board darn near empty, we actually have Emergency and hers, which once again, that's an OTK. So, you know, not too worried. 3 hand traps, OTK, we opened it, you know, that's already twice. Force him to burn through all of his cards, get there. Fast forward a little bit here, because clicking next play is taking a little too long. So he gets to the Link Cross play, and at this point, we're going to go ahead and Gamma the Link Cross. Not really too worried of anything else he can do. I mean, he's got spheres, which is what we kind of assumed, and that is what he ends up going for. But again, not too worried about it, because what's he going to do? Bounce our core, and then we already, you know, we still got our play. And, you know, he actually might prevent the OTK doing that, but not too worried. So we go ahead, as you see there, he does go into the spheres. We use our Emergency to get our core, go ahead and do our play, get our repair plant, and then he goes ahead with spheres. It's actually really important that we open Naxter here, because the smarter play would be for sphere to bounce the core, and then it doesn't go to the graveyard. I have no Cyber Dragons in the graveyard, and I just searched repair plant, so I would, you know, need a Cyber Dragon in the graveyard, and I obviously can't contact fuse him if that's the case. I assumed he was bouncing the core. He did not. That's why we had that little interaction there, but he puts the boot sector back in his hand for some reason, and then he special summons the Brotar, then once again using its effect, but it's not going to matter because we have the OTK in hand, getting Levenir. Fast forward a little bit, and then we're just going to basically do the play, you know, the OTK. He does think that Brotar can special summon itself if it is destroyed, but that's not how Brotar works. It needs to be in the graveyard when your card gets destroyed, which obviously it's not. So go ahead and go to our Rampage Dragon, and then just attacking, and we get game that way. On to game 2. He makes us go first, and we happen to open, you know, okay. We could, you know, use our Emergency, get our core, and then go ahead and go and grab our, we actually definitely can't even think right now, should have used our Emergency, got our core, and then grabbed our rev system, or at least use that for our play. But with Droll, Gamma, and Nibiru in hand, I was comfortable passing turn. So that's what we go ahead and do. 'Cause there's not really a great reason to, you know, start just using them for discard fodder because they can stop everything. And Core's a 1-card Dragoon anyway. So take the 1000 and then passing turn. And here is where we really mess up, because we think we can actually go for game, and instead of just playing it safe and smart, getting our rev system, which we definitely should do, and then we have hand trap backup just in case he breaks our field and we don't end up winning. We see 2 lights, we see Core, we see his monster, and anyone who knows the deck, we have Overload still in this time. This is an OTK, we do have the win, we got game, and we go for it. And you guys will see here in just a second what happens. I'm really not a big fan of pitching hand traps for my monsters. Like, unless I know I got game, I don't like doing it. I definitely felt like I had it. I have an Ash as backup, but the Nibiru comes out, and it definitely makes it pretty tough because now he's just going to attack over Makaba and really don't have much of a play to do anything because he's just going to start comboing off at that point. You know, we can Ash the Alpi, but I mean, like, realistically, there's not a whole lot we were going to be stopping. So going to game 3, we opt to go second once again. We opened 3 hand traps once again. We are playing 14, if you guys are wondering why we're opening so many. Which opening 3 is actually still, like, your odds are you won't, but odds are you'll open 2 more often than you won't. It's like 50 something % to open 2, but we actually opened 3 all 3 games. So he goes Brotar and then into Striker Dragon. Boot Sector. We dropped the Droll on him, if you guys didn't see that, obviously. With the Gamma and Mourner, we're not too worried about a whole lot happening. And then we're going to stop the Link Cross. Let him go into the LP. As playing Dragon Link, like, you know the plays when you're starting to get hit with stuff and like the Link Cross. I expect him to pretty much go into Protector Whelp with LP under the Link Cross. So that's why we just saved our Gamma. And then we're going to go ahead and negate it and destroy it. They get banished. He sets 1 card. He activates a pointer, but then after a short discussion and a confirmation by the judge, he needs a hand to reveal. You can't activate a pointer because you pay 2,000 and reveal your entire hand. He can't reveal his hand because he does not have a hand, so he cannot activate a pointer. But we'll see here in a little bit why that actually ends up coming down and mattering. We go ahead. It actually would have been more beneficial if we... Well, I mean, I guess not, because you wouldn't get the card in hand for your discard, but we could have made, like, Mega Fleet and Cyber Dragon attacked for more damage, but thinking back, actually, now it would have been not very smart because hers would not be able to get something to our hand, you know, for our discard fodder, because obviously Dark Magician will not be there. So we're going to make our Dragoon, pop the Protector, and then go off from there. And here he activates that, and I just felt like he was baiting me and wasn't really thinking too much ahead, because I was like, okay, he's probably going to go for Savage and attack over Dragoon, blah blah blah. And if I negated it, and part of me too was feeling like it's like, I mean, he should have, I guess we'll start at the beginning, in his like draw phase or standby phase, he should have actually paid the 2,000 to activate a pointer, because I have to negate the pointer then. Otherwise, I'm not going to have a card in my hand to discard, and that obviously would not bode well for myself. But in doing so, I would negate and destroy the appointer and put mine to 4,000. So even his Boral Savage, you know, what would he get? 800 or 600 off his Romulus wouldn't be enough to actually go over and attack my Dragoon for game. So definitely one of the misplays. There's a lot of misplays like right here, or I guess I should say more optimal plays. He should have used the appointer, but I would go to 4K then in that case. And then here I should have negated the Boot Sector, because just to try and, you know, keep the Tracer from hitting the field. And instead now he uses the appointer to force my Dragoon. So I negate it with the Dragoon, but now he has the Tracer on the field, which has a quick effect. He can banish the Appointer, so I do not, or destroy the Appointer, sorry, so I don't destroy it, so I don't gain the attack, which is actually really huge, because now I'm like, okay, well, his Boral Savage now can attack over my Dragoon. I just gotta find a way to like bait the negate and everything, because I can still use my Anaconda. I have core, or I don't have core in the graveyard, but I have the Cyber Dragons in the graveyard to use my Anaconda, so it's all gonna come down to what I top deck is what I'm thinking at the moment. And he does go into the Savage as expected, but he attacks the Verde, so this was the final misplay. Like I said, there's so many more ways both of us could have played more optimally. It was a really sloppy turn and end to the game, but he attacks the Verde, and I don't understand that at all. I don't know if he's just thinking he won't activate anything, so I can't negate it, and he'll just attack over me next time or something. I'm not sure, but I just, pop his Savage and he negates it, so I pop his Savage and win. And even if I, I don't know, I just, like, if I pop it and he activates the negate, I could have just discarded to destroy and then attacked for 4,000. Like, it was just a pretty sloppy end to the match. We are working on the Cyber Dinosaur deck profile. Will be up pretty soon with some replays. It's actually kind of fun. Not something I would play at an event or take it serious, but locally it's kind of fun. And when the hands pop off, they really pop off. The decks don't work together per se, but we're trying to just make the build to where the hands don't conflict at all. And even if that's like opening, between Fossil Dig, any of your babies, your Miscellaneosaurus, any of those, if you open any two with like core, you're going to make your Dragoon and Dino play. A lot of the hands we're doing, like standard Cyber Dragon, Infinity plus Dragoon and a hand trap, or your full Dino combo, things like that. But once in a while you just pop off and then like Dolka, Dragoon, Conductor, Infinity, possibly Overflow set. Like it's crazy what the deck can do. Oh, and so here we see Tour Guide. So right away I think PK Fire, Burning Abyss. At least we have the Impermanence, which usually that's enough to stop their turn. So we drop the Impermanence on it, and well, look at that, it stops their turn. So we special summon the Cyber Dragon. Normal core, chain our fear, because, well, we want the free body on board. It's not even so much chain blocking, it's just getting the body on board, because there's so much disruption around in the game nowadays. But chain blocking does not hurt. I mean, they can obviously, if they were going to Imperm or Veiler, they would still Imperm or Veiler, and if they're going to Ash Blossom, they can just Ash the spell that we search anyway. So we go ahead and do that, and then we search out our Repair Plant. Unfortunately, he has Draw and Lockbird. So had we searched our Rev system instead, we would actually be in a much better position. But yeah, we don't. So we search our Repair Plant because we're going for, our combo. We're going for the play. Hers Repair Plant in hand. So we go to our Verde. And then had we had Rev system, we could have like revved back our Fear, who would have 1,600. We'd have 26 from Cyber Dragon. We could use the Verde effect and negate it with our Dragoon and be at 4k, popping the Tour Guide, so that'd be 1,000, 5,000 plus another 42, so we could have hit for 9,200. But you don't always see these plays until you actually slow it down and watch the replay afterwards. And had he not had Droll, I would have ended up winning that turn anyway. Pretty much any other hand trap I would have been fine with, but Droll definitely hurts a lot. So we do use the Verde just to mostly get our core to our hand for our follow-up play, but also just dealing a little bit more damage. Again, unfortunate that, had we known, that's why I don't show you guys the hands. Like Droll, you would have been, why didn't you search Rev system? Why didn't you search Overflow? Well, I didn't know he had Droll, and that's exactly why I don't show you guys their hands, because a little bit irrelevant at that. So now we're just going to kind of wait and not do anything until, it's going to affect us. Like right here when he summons Ningirsu, and he's going to send one card from each player's field to the graveyards, being itself and Dragoon. Why wouldn't I negate it? Like, he's got 2 in hand, negate it. I can't destroy it because IP is going to protect it, but he's got 900 life points. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? that's probably the worst thing that could happen, you know. So talents is just, you know, he had droll, he had talents, he just, you know, he had everything he needed, and sometimes that happens. It's unfortunate. We could have came away with a win had we played it differently, but we didn't know what he had, so we can't say we play it differently. Turn 2, okay? We're going first this time. Emergency Soldier, right there, we already know we have Infinity Dragoon, and we have Overflow. So, once again, you know, we use our emergency though, and sadly, we get our core to our hand, or we got our, yeah, core to our hand, and he droll unlocks us again. So that's game 1, and game 2, 44 card deck, he opened droll unlock both times, so not a whole lot we can do. We're going to go ahead and make our Dragoon and pop 2 with our Overflow, and he has Super Poly, so he drolls us and then super polys us, and it's like, oh my goodness, this guy has all the answers every time. Like, it's crazy. Like, what are we supposed to do? And so now we're going to go ahead and just take that damage because we want to be able to banish core to summon, and we actually have Nibiru, so we can discard for our Galaxy Soldier. Searching out Galaxy Soldier. Not that it's needed. Actually, it is needed because this is how we end up turning this around. So scratch that. We're going to Infinity. Sorry, guys. I was getting my games 2 and 3 mixed up because despite the Super Poly and the droll, we do pull this one out. We cannot... or I don't even know what I'm saying, guys. Like, just completely ignore that part. We're going to normal summon our Galaxy Soldier because we're yet to normal summon yet, and then make our Nova. Nova's not once per turn on its effect, so we can get back our Cyber Dragon, and there we have 27, 68, and, or sorry, 48, 6,900, but Nova can banish Cyber Dragon to deal an extra 2,100, so we have game that way. Sorry, guys, definitely got my games 2 and 3 mixed up, not to spoil what happens in game 3. But so here we see Impermanence, Ash, and then Core and Soldier, so we're looking good. We got our OTK, we have Overflow in case it goes wrong, we have Impermanence and Ash to stop him. He has Tour Guide, he normals it, so we stop it. He sets 2, so I assume at least one's Infinite Impermanence. Like, definitely was on my mind. Definitely could have played possibly different, but I don't think I played anything, you know, wrong. You just kind of got to go for it. Getting to our hers. I guess right there's the only thing we did that was kind of questionable, but even that's not really, like, I don't know, it's horse apiece. Like, it's not going to end up mattering, at least that part of it won't. You'll see here in a second, one of like the worst cards for against Cyber Dragon. Just card's crazy. Make the Nova, and then we go ahead to special summon OG Cyber Dragon from the graveyard because we're going to go for game. And he activates Ice Dragon's Prison, which this card is just brutal versus Cyber Dragon. It's like crazy because now we're like burning through resources so fast. He ends up normal summoning Vanity's Fiend now. He's still got 1 set 2 in hand. We have Overflow at least so we can out it. Gamma and Ash also. Obviously we cannot use our we cannot banish our core because of Vanity's Fiend. We cannot special summon. We could say Overflow right now and get rid of Vanity's Fiend. I mean, we could technically get rid of both if we really wanted. I mean, now you guys see what it is. It's a super poly once again. But we're just gonna, okay, we do that. Not entirely sure why we do it there instead of just leaving it. But yeah, so then we go to his turn, and Cyber Dragon hers now. We didn't banish 2 and get rid of that, which we definitely could have, and maybe it would have changed the outcome of this. But we wanted to keep core in the graveyard, so that way we had a follow-up play, because otherwise Ash, Gamma, like when we already burned through Galaxy Soldiers, this is not a good hand to try and come back from. We need a way to get another monster on board, so that's why we only banished the one hers to get our core back to our hand this way. And we draw into Infinite Impermanence, so again, not necessarily ideal, but we can go ahead and use Cyber Dragon Core, grab our Rev system, because we're going to go for our Dragoon play now, and there we can get our core back to our hand once again. And we get Dragoon, so we burn, And then, we're actually feeling good. We got it. We're doing, um, we're doing what we want. Then he uses his Fiendish Warrior Rhino Warrior effect, and that's where the Ash came in. So, sorry, the whole fast forward thing kind of gets ahead of us. And he super polys, even discarding a super poly because he just does not need it at this point. Ignore that extra attack. I was just not sure what I was doing. So, main phase 2 now, 1 in hand and his Starving Venom. But the important thing here is, like, we already burned through now our Dragoon. We already, you got Nova banished. We used our Galaxy Soldiers, and we're not playing Cyber Load Fusion. This is the first time since cutting it, like a month ago, 2 months ago, that it actually came up where, oh, if I had Cyber Load Fusion, I could have actually came back and won this game. So, like, we go ahead and get our overflow here. We set the 2. And then he just goes right to battle phase, and we're going to obviously not want to lose, so we overflow to pop it. And then he just sets the 1 card, and here we can go ahead, and get our Galaxy Soldier on board just for another body. If you're wondering, the reason we didn't search Repair Plant at all to, like, shuffle back a Galaxy Soldier is because we didn't have 3 Cyber Dragons in the graveyard. I mean, we could have used just the 1 effect, I guess, and shuffled 1 Cyber Dragon back, but we would still need them in hand, which we obviously didn't know what was going to happen the very next turn. So we go ahead and link into Seeger just to put the big body out, but he Solemn Judgments it. So it's like, once again, it's just, back and forth. He activates his Farfa from hand, so we go ahead and Gamma it just to get some defense on board. He passes turn, and here is where, if we were playing Cyber Load Fusion, we would actually win, because then we could core, and we have enough in the extra deck that we could actually just go into Cyber Load Fusion, but we don't, so we can't. And you could argue I should have kept that. I don't have a way to get my core to the graveyard right now, and if he puts it in the graveyard, I basically lose the game. Additionally, it's not really going to do a whole lot of anything to put a Galaxy Soldier back when I have all 3 in the graveyard. We attack then with our core, and then here there's really nothing else we can do. So we do end up dropping this one. Learn quite a bit. I definitely was caught off guard because I was expecting PK Fire, and there's just no PK. It was just straight up Burning Abyss stun, and the Ice Dragon's Prison really caught me off guard. But the game 3 is really grindy, and it's actually, Burning Abyss is one of the decks I don't like playing against at all, because I just feel like they have so many options, and it's like, well, you can disrupt them easy enough, you can stop them easy enough, you can do this, you can do that. But I mean, they can play like the stun variant, cards like Super Poly, cards like Ice Dragon's Prison. Getting drolled multiple times hurts. Like, sometimes you just don't open what you need to do and your opponent does, and that's all just part of the game. But I think I do definitely stand by, we learn a lot from our losses, arguably more than we do from our wins. So I do want to show you guys that I don't just show you when everything goes right, but I mean, if you've seen our EDO Pro deck profiles where we show replays too, we tend to show hands where we brick, where we open garnets, where we do things like that, because I don't like just giving you guys highlight reels. I want you guys to be able to learn. If you see anything I could have played better that I did not already mention, let me know in the comment section down below. Otherwise, thank you for watching and listening to me talk, and cannot wait until next time.